ξεκινήσουμε. Πιάσαμε λίγο την κουβέντα εδώ. Δίνουμε εμείς το OK, ξεκινάμε οπότε. Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα σας φίλες και φίλοι. Καλώς ήρθατε στο Φεστιβάλ των Χανίων. Είμαι ο Νίκος Κουρμουλής. Είμαι πολιτιστικός συντάκτης της εφημερίδα Τα Νέα και συγγραφέας. Να το πάρω πάνω το μικρόφωνο. Λοιπόν. Εδώ, καλύτερα. Λοιπόν, καλησπέρα φίλες και φίλοι, καλησπέρα σε όλες και σε όλους. Είμαι ο Νίκος Κουρμουλής, καλώς ήρθατε στο Φεστιβάλ των Χανίων. Είμαι ο Νίκος Κουρμουλής, είμαι πολιτιστικός συντάκτης στην εφημερίδα Τα Νέα και συγγραφέας, παλιός φίλος και αναγνώστης του Arne Dahl. Έχουμε τη χαρά και την τιμή να φιλοξενούμε εδώ σήμερα στο Μίκης Θεοδωράκης έναν από τους επιδραστικότερους συγγραφείς αυτή τη στιγμή παγκοσμίως της αστυνομικής λογοτεχνίας και όχι μόνο. Τον κύριο Arne Dahl. Θα κάνω μία μικρή, έτσι, ελάχιστη, όσο μπορώ, ελάχιστη είναι, εισαγωγή και μετά θα κάνουμε μία σειρά, θα μιλήσει ο κύριος Arne Dahl και μετά θα κάνουμε μία σειρά, έτσι, ερωτήσεων και ελπίζω να συμμετέχετε κι εσείς. Καταρχάς να ρωτήσω, έχετε διαβάσει Arne Dahl? Αρκετοί, ναι. So many fun. Αρκετοί, λοιπόν. Πολλά βιβλία. Βλέπω ήδη ένα βιβλίο. Όλα. Όλα. Υπάρχουν άνθρωποι που τα έχουν διαβάσει όλα, λοιπόν. Αυτό νομίζω ότι είναι μοναδικό. Τα βιβλία του έχουν μεταφραστεί, όπως ξέρετε, σε 32 γλώσσες και πάνω και οι σειρές των μυθιστορημάτων του έχουν διαμορφώσει ως ένα μεγάλο βαθμό αυτό που λέμε Nordic Noir, του σύγχρονου Nordic Noir, αλλά δεν μένουν σε αυτό. Οι ιστορίες του Dahl είναι ενιγματικές, εξερευνούν το ύφος και τα όρια της αφήγησης, της πλοκής, στο σύγχρονο μυθιστόρημα. Ο συγγραφέας μας αποτελεί για μένα ένα φαινόμενο, κατά την ταπεινή μου γνώμη, διότι είναι μια μονάδα, μια μεγάλη μονάδα παραγωγής αφήγησης, όπου παρά τον όγκο των βιβλίων που έχει βγάλει, δεν έχει πέσει σε καμία περίπτωση στη μετριότητα ή δεν έχει μπει σε καμία διαδικασία, στη διαδικασία της ευκολίας. Και αυτό είναι για μένα μάθημα και για τους συγγραφείς του σήμερα και του χθες. Ο Arne Dahl είναι σίγουρα ένας από τους συνδιαμορφωτές του Nordic Noir και είναι ένας άνθρωπος ο οποίος ταυτόχρονα μέσα από το είδος έφτασε να συνδιαμορφώσει και ο ίδιος ως έναν μεγάλο βαθμό αυτό που λέμε πλοκή στο σύγχρονο μυθιστόρημα. Στο mainstream μυθιστόρημα, εντάξει. Γράφει με πρωταγωνιστές ομάδες, όπως ξέρετε, την ομάδα Α, γύρω από την ομάδα Α τα πρώτα του βιβλία, μετά η βραβευμένη σειρά με την ομάδα Opcop και τώρα το τελευταίο του μυθιστόρημα στο κέντρο του κύκλου εδώ, πάντα από τις εκδόσεις Μετέχμιο, ενεργοποιεί την ομάδα ΝΟΒΑ. Είχαμε και μία αποκλειστική μετασυζήτηση που κάνουμε πριν. Δεν ξέρει ακόμα σε ποιο βαθμό θα φτάσει η ομάδα ΝΟΒΑ. Δεν το έχει σκεφτεί. Θα το δει στην πορεία. Ο λόγος του Dahl για μένα επίσης ξεφεύγει από τα όρια του, από το πρώτο βιβλίο που διάβασα κι εγώ, ξεφεύγει από τα όρια του απλού αστυνομικού μυθιστορήματος, έτσι όπως το έχουν στο μυαλό τους πολλοί. Δηλαδή είναι ρεαλιστικός, σκληρά ρεαλιστικός και πολλές φορές ποιητικός. Είναι πολύπλοκος λόγος, δεν είναι έτσι απλοϊκός. Και υπηρετεί και θέλει να εξηγήσει το συνεχώς μεταβαλλόμενο και πολύπλοκο, το συνεχώς μεταβαλλόμενο περιβάλλον σήμερα και αυτό το ρευστό σήμερα. Χρησιμοποιεί τη φόρμα του αστυνομικού, όπως ξέρετε, για να ανοίξει διάλογο με τις κοινωνικές πληγές της Σουηδίας, της Σκανδιναβίας και όχι μόνο της Ευρώπης, αλλά και παγκοσμίως. Οι ομάδες των ερευνητών του, και είναι πολύ ενδιαφέρον αυτό, ότι ο Arne Dahl στηρίζεται σε ομάδες, είναι κύτταρα παρατήρησης, κοινοτισμού και αξιολόγησης της εσωτερικής αρχιτεκτονικής του εγκλήματος. Και οι ομάδες αλλάζουν κατά τις περιόδους ή κατά τις εποχές και κατά τους τρόπους που αλλάζει και το έγκλημα. Κάποτε θυμάμαι, μου είχε πει ο Πέτρος Μάρκαρης, νομίζω είναι και φίλος του Arne Dahl, ότι μου είχε πει το εξής, θα το θυμηθώ τώρα. Όταν αλλάζει το έγκλημα, έχει ήδη αλλάξει η κοινωνία πριν. Δηλαδή η αλλαγή του εγκλήματος προηγείται του τρόπου, του ύφους. Και μετά, λίγο μετά, βλέπουμε τις μεγάλες αλλαγές στην κοινωνία. Αυτή την αρχή ακολουθεί και ο Arne Dahl. Οι ήρωές του, λοιπόν, δεν είναι οι εκκεντρικοί ήρωες που βλέπουμε στο hard-boiled αστυνομικό μυθιστόρημα, αλλά σχεδόν οι αόρατοι, εντός εισαγωγικών, μελετητές της σκοτεινής πλευράς. Το τελευταίο βιβλίο του Arne Dahl, λοιπόν, και νομίζω, πριν φτάσουμε στο κέντρο του κύκλου, να πω ότι ο Arne Dahl και η φουρνιά του και η γενιά του πήρε ένα εντός εισαγωγικών ευτελές είδος, πολύ εντός εισαγωγικών, και το μετέτρεψε για τα ευρωπαϊκά δεδομένα σε έναν καμβά λογοτεχνικής επιδεξιότητας, μαστοριάς. Και έκανε το βιβλίο ξανά πιστόφυλλο και παρέα του μοναχικού ανθρώπου σήμερα. Και νομίζω ότι είναι μια διάσταση που μπορούμε να τη βάλουμε. Λοιπόν, στο κέντρο του κύκλου. Στο κέντρο του κύκλου είναι το τελευταίο μυθιστόρημα που έχει μεταφραστεί από τις εκδόσεις Μετέχμιο και η πλοκή γυρίζει, θα μας τα πει και ο ίδιος στην πορεία, γύρω από την κλιματική αλλαγή, το πολιτικό και το εταιρικό παρασκήνιο. Στη μέση, ο άγνωστος Χ. Μια ύπαρξη, δεν θα δώσω φυσικά πολλά spoiler, μια ύπαρξη που θέλει ίσως να επιταχύνει την πτώση, την καταστροφή του Homo sapiens. Το κάδρο συμπληρώνεται με την επιθεωρήτρια Εύα Νίμαν, μια 50άρα γυναίκα, η οποία ταλαιπωρείται από πολλά, μεταξύ αυτών και έλλειψη αυτοεμπιστοσύνης. Νομίζω ότι οι πιστοί αναγνώστες θα την αγαπήσετε αμέσως. Και ο πρώην αρχιεπιθεωρητής Λούκας Φρισέλ, περίεργος τύπος, αρκετά δικός μου, νομίζω, ένα παράξενος μονήρης άντρας, όπου βρίσκεται σε απομόνωση, καθώς αισθάνεται ότι δεν ανήκει στην εποχή μας. Ή μήπως παραανήκει. Θα το βρείτε στην πορεία. Ένα βιβλίο που οι γρίφοι του Arne Dahl βρίσκονται σε πλήρη έξαρση, με επίκεντρο ένα θέμα, ένα ζήτημα το οποίο απασχολεί πολλούς και στην Ευρώπη και παγκόσμια πια. Είναι η κλιματική αλλαγή ή η κλιματική κρίση. Και σε αυτό το τελευταίο του βιβλίο μας υποδέχεται σε αυτό το γριφώδη κύβο του Ρούμπικ του, και τα πράγματα που φαίνονται δεν είναι. Να τον ευχαριστήσουμε που ήρθε εδώ, να τον ευχαριστήσουμε που επισκέφτεται τη χώρα μας για πολλοστή φορά, την αγαπάει, ξέρει ότι και το κοινό αγαπάει το έργο του. Καλώς ήρθες, Άρνε. Λοιπόν, να ξεκινήσουμε. Αν θες να πεις κάτι, αν θες να κάνεις μια εισαγωγή, μπορείς. Ξέρω.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure what you said there.
Do you want to say in English, in Greek, αγγλικά, ελληνικά? Λοιπόν, μπορείς να μας κάνεις μια εισαγωγή για το τι είναι το στο κέντρο του κύκλου?
Should I have some earphones or something?
Για την μετάφραση. Then you don't have any...
I don't have, no.
Oh, no. You... right.
Okay, the whole thing should have been translated in my ears, right?
I think so. So okay. I said that you're very... So I said that... Huh? In English, huh? Well, because they told me in Greek.
Yeah, well, the introduction is okay.
The introduction is okay.
I don't need that.
Now,
no, but,
do you want...
No, I want this. if
Welcome to Greece.
We are going to do this in...
Welcome to Greece. Welcome to Chania, Arne.
Okay.
Now in Greece...
Thank you very much. Thank you.
In Greece or in English? In English. In English. Right. So,
okay.
Can you tell us, in first place, how about this? Can you tell us about the center of the circle? Your new book is the you introduce NOVA team.
Yeah.
And Eva Niemann. So, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Well, this is, I don't know, maybe my 21st crime fiction novel, so it's not like I'm a beginner, but I wanted to be a beginner again. I wanted to be returned to find some new way of writing, and I think I did this in this book. I went from the Berger and Bloom series, which was pretty... a different one, very thriller, very rather tough, actually, pretty dark. And I thought that I'm going to go back to what I really wanted from the beginning, and that was to write about a team. And it was the Alpha team then, you know.
Breakthrough.
In Greek, yeah.
It was a breakthrough.
And that's how I started, not by a single detective having to carry the burden of investigation all by himself, but I wanted a team, sort of collective storytelling, so you can have many perspectives on a crime or a series of crimes. So it was very important to have some kind of teamwork as the main driving force in the story. And I lost that a little bit along the way, or I got rid of it a little bit, and then I wanted to return to it. So the NOVA series is really about a new group, a new team. And I try to take everything that I'm kind of good at and put in the same pot and stir a little bit. And that is the collective storytelling. Some characters, not too many, not like 10 police officers, but 5.
5.
Yeah. A boss that is female and not necessarily a tough boss, but rather different kind of wants to have some kind of cooperation and even friendship with the police officers. And then I wanted a cast of characters that were really interesting, like a female detective that drinks a little bit too much.
Yes.
Chania, that's a very interesting kind of character that I hadn't used before. And another one, an immigrant from Afghanistan, for example, who is also one of the main characters, Shabir Sarwani. Another female that's really a tough woman.
Tough woman, yes.
Annika, and then the fourth one, which is called Anton, and Anton is a little bit racist, but not really. You know, he's kind of leaning towards it, and he has to fight it.
It's a cringy guy, but...
Yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's seen a little bit too much, you know, and altogether these characters would be interesting for the question, is it possible to write an exciting, thrilling book about climate and climate change? Who would want to read that?
Yes.
Can you make it exciting? And I think I really try to do that, because should I keep talking, or do you want
You keep talking, of course.
So the normal climate activists are people that are gluing themselves to the streets or throwing tomatoes at
Paintings.
Yes. And they're not very dangerous. So if we could just change this a little bit and make sure that there are climate terrorists, because it's a very big question after all. Now it's drowning a little bit in all the other shit that's going on in the world, in a way, but it is and remains the big question of our time. Will the planet survive? Simply. Yeah.
And this terrorist, kind of a parenthesis, and this terrorist in your book is like Unabomber, more like Unabomber, the legendary Unabomber.
Yes. Ted Kaczynski or something like that he's called. He's from America. He was blowing up. He tried to blow up a plane, and he tried to some bombs sent to different people.
Yes.
And he was writing big manifestos in the newspapers. And so there have been a couple of kind of climate terrorists in the past, but not so many. And I thought, now I'm going to try to create one that's really, really interesting in a way, and who seems to have some kind of connection with Eva Nyman, the boss, and her past. And it appears like it's a person who has been living in the forest, out in the woods for 8 years, I think. But before that, he was her boss. He's an old superintendent at the Swedish police, and he failed. In 2008, he failed with a big kidnapping case. And Eva Nyman was there too at the time. And he stopped being a police after that. He thought he completely failed.
He completely failed.
So and he's turning more and more into the main suspect now, the old police officer.
How do you write this collective storytelling? How do you find it? How do you structure it?
Yeah, of course they have to be living people, you know, three-dimensional characters, not stereotypical, not flat characters, but you know, really characters. They have to be people I would like to hang out with in a way.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of create the base. And that's the same thing I did with the Alpha team once upon a time. You know, I'm going to live with these characters for 10 years. I'm going to write 10 books in 10 years. That was the ambition. It worked. But it was very big ambition. But if I'm going to hang out with these people for 10 years, it's necessary that I like them, and that I, or at least find them interesting enough to talk about and talk to and talk through. So that's the key, I think, to me. Why is this person interesting? Why do you want to keep talking to her or him? And how can she or he function in the big story. So
you don't have any eccentric, big-time detectives. No, you have this kind of part. Those characters are part of a bigger team.
And I think that also affects the structure of the story, because it's never one single perspective. It's always several, and they work together. It's like a collective thinking that's leading to the answers and the solutions of the problems.
It's pre-AI. It's like pre-AI kind of collective thinking. that kind of situation.
In a way.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. When do you realize that a character is interesting? That a character is gonna stay? It's gonna leave.
When they start talking to each other, they have to start talking.
It's you and the character.
Yeah, well, the characters.
The characters together.
First, I've created them. And that's a sort of frame, and then another frame, and then they meet, and they talk, and then I see: is there some kind of magic going on here? Is there some kind of spark between these characters? And when there is, I realize, okay, this is good. They're going to keep talking to each other in a way that's going to be good for my story. And that's why I like cooperation more than conflict, really, among the police officers. It's maybe not realistic, always. As soon as people are gathering in bigger crowds, they tend to start having small fights. It's not really what's happening here. There are small conflicts going on between the characters of the NOVA team, but not big fights.
Big fights.
No.
How do you connect many years ago crime novel with social issues? With ongoing social issues.
Social issues, yeah.
Maybe crime novel is the big social novel of our days, actually, of our times.
Yeah, I think it is in a way. When the other kinds of novels have, I don't know how it is exactly in Greece, but in Sweden, novels are turning more and more into egocentric storytellings, like autofiction. You're talking about yourself, and it's very personal, can be very, very heavy and interesting, of course. But still, the bigger question when you look at the full picture of a society, I think crime fiction is very good at that. Partly because the police officers, for example, if we use that, you don't have to use police officers, but for me it's good. And maybe also the image of the police officer is a little bit different in Sweden than it is in Greece, for example.
Yes.
But you can use it to move from the lowest parts of society to the highest. They can get in everywhere, they can see everything.
They can see everything, right.
So in that respect, it's a very good way of using the police officers. But they have to be kind of nice police officers. Otherwise it doesn't work. But also, the big crimes are always has something to do with society, what society looks like.
Yeah.
Unless you're just trying to find a sadist serial killer that has no connection to anything else, it's always social. It's always political in one way or another. If you want to steal money, it's political in a way. From who do you steal it? Where it's going to go? If you're going to have revenge, it's going to be political, or at least social, say something about social.
Is crime? Do you think that crime changed from today, from 90s that you are writing? from late 90s until today, the crime has changed, you think, huh?
Crime,
and the society changed as well?
Yes.
You think so? Right. In which direction?
Yeah, I think crime is where we move from society to outside of society. So you can see crimes as the border of a society. That's where the borderline is. And that changes when crime changes and society changes with the crimes. Like in Sweden, when I started writing, we didn't have, for example, mafia-looking.
Yes.
It was a kind of very peaceful society in a way, Swedish society. I mean, Greek society is also kind of peaceful after all.
Kind of.
But Sweden is it's not very peaceful anymore. It's turned into, we have had big groups and really horrible mafia-like structures going on. And that changed very much. And
they changed rapidly, huh?
Yeah, it's very rapid. And now it's also entering society, you know. In Greece, you had corruption for a little longer, maybe, than Sweden, if I may say so. But here is a different kind of corruption. It's coming from the really hard-boiled, violent criminals. And they are sort of eating their way into society in a rather disturbing way. That's what it's not what I'm writing about in this book, but it's not right in this book, yes. It's there. It's a little bit in the outskirts of this book too, you know, when there are big groups of for example, drug dealers turning into, getting so big and so on, so they start buying up parts of society and entering the political system and so on.
This proxy, the gangs are like proxy of career, something like that.
Something like that, yes.
It's proxy.
Yes, exactly.
You can go up the escalators.
And we can see that maybe here and there in society in general, that it's now it's more about power again.
Yes.
It's about just having enough force. We used to be able, in the democracies, to talk to each other, and now suddenly we have, for example, a president in the US that is only about sheer power. Who is the strongest guy?
Yes.
That's what it's about.
This is the situation.
And that's a horrible situation.
Can you describe us a working day of yours?
It depends what phase I'm in. If I'm in the phase where I feel, oh, this is a lovely story, I'm in the middle of it, I'm moving in the right direction, then it's a long work day, and I'm a happy guy. And I can write for like maybe 10 hours, you know.
10 hours a day, non-stop?
Not non-stop, no, but all in all. If I'm in the position where I am right now, which is looking for the next story, then I'm not so happy. It's very difficult to find a new story, especially if you've written, I don't know, 22 books.
You have a special spot in the house somewhere, something. You have a habit before you start working. You have right.
Well, yeah. It takes some time. I'm not really the. I know there are some of my colleagues that are really morning people. They get up at 6 o'clock and have to go out with the dog.
With the dog and running.
Yeah. And then after that, they just immediately sit down and write their 3 hours per day. And at 11 o'clock, they're happy and free, and everything is fine. That's not me.
You're not you. You're a night guy.
I used to be very much a night guy.
Right.
My first books were night books.
Late nights. Yes.
I'm getting older, so you don't really have the ability to sit at 3 o'clock in the night writing anymore, I'm afraid. But I'm not a morning person, so I start at maybe 10 o'clock or something like that.
Human level. So, do you have a last question? Να πούμε καταρχάς, can you have full stop. Do you have any questions for Mr. Dahl? Έχετε κάποιες ερωτήσεις, μήπως? Να κάνουμε κάποιος, αν θέλει κάποια να μιλήσει, να κάνει μια ερώτηση. Είτε για το καινούριο του βιβλίου, είτε για παλιότερα. Ωραία. Can you tell us more about αγγλικά, συνεχίζω ή ελληνικά, αγγλικά. Can you tell us more about how do you combine climate change and crime? And how do you said to yourself, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, climate change is a crime. We have committed kind of a crime against our grandchildren by destroying the planet in a way. So you can say, but that doesn't make a good story, really. Then you have to have threats. You have to have, and I turned it into a terrorist, very threatening terrorist action. Escalating, so it gets worse and worse and worse in a way, and new threats are coming in the shape of letters, with a sound in those letters that really remind Eva Nyman, the boss, of her old boss, and the way he spoke about climate and climate change, and about the new digitalization of the world, which he really hated. And he sort of left society and went out in the world, or in the woods, in the forest. And he stayed there for 8 years, and now maybe he's back. Maybe he's back as a terrorist, saying it's not enough to tap somebody on the shoulder anymore when you have to warn them about what's happening right now. You have to have stronger means, stronger power, and that is, for example, bombs, blowing up stuff, threatening with different kinds of violence.
Yeah, sure. But in the same time, climate change for many people is, till today, is rather abstract. They don't understand exactly, right?
No, and I'm not sure if I understand it, you know, and that's what makes it so difficult to write about. And to me, it was a challenge. I had written so many books and in so many different subjects, and I thought, how do we make this exciting for everybody who also are a bit skeptical? Does it really matter if I have a petrol car or an electric car? Of course it doesn't really, individually. Does it matter if I fly with an airplane or go by train? Probably not.
Probably not, huh?
So it's not about that, really. It's about the big picture and how we can sort of just start reducing this in a way. But I agree. I fly probably more than most people in this room.
Sure.
So I'm not very innocent myself.
How do you find the courage for new novel beginnings? You write how many years?
25 or something.
25 or something.
Crime.
When do you find the courage, the freshness for new beginnings in your books? What is your stimulus?
Yeah. What is the advantage of having written many books and trying to write new books all the time? Not just the same book over and over again, but try to write different stuff. Is that I am getting better and better at writing. The writing process that's where I'm very good.
The process, yes.
The process of writing, and how you actually build up a page, how you turn in with language. There, I think I'm maybe a little bit more of an artist than a TV series maker, so to speak. So that's upside of writing many books. The downside is you have already written almost everything, so it's much more difficult to find new things, like you asked. What am I going to write about now? I've killed somebody in that way, and that way, and that way, and what can be a new, fresh approach to, and what could give me stimulation to keep writing. And that, so it takes a longer time to get the idea and to set the idea. But when I start writing and when I keep writing, I feel I'm better than ever, in a way. So I'm sort of always longing for the time when I'm in the novel, writing it.
Is your writing changes within ages?
I think so, yeah.
The old Dahl is the old one, no?
The old Dahl, there was a lot of, family life and stuff in the early, when I had small kids. So it's sort of, it gets pulled into the story, the life I live, really. It's much, and now in later years, it's not so much about children anymore, it's more about grown-ups.
Grown-ups.
So it changes in that way, and of course also how my life is at the moment. Then maybe it gets darker in novels some years, some years a little bit brighter.
Μια μικρή παρένθεση. Θέλει κανείς να πει κάτι? Εδώ βεβαίως. Ναι. Μικρόφωνο.
Ήθελα να ρωτήσω πώς σκεφτήκατε να βάλετε ένα Έλληνα επιθεωρητή, τον Άγγελο, δεν θυμάμαι τώρα το επίθετο, σε μια από τις ομάδες σας που είχε πολλούς Ευρωπαίους μέσα. Και δεν βάλατε κάποιον άλλο, βάλατε Έλληνα.
Okay. I didn't get a translation there, so can you say it in English?
Yes, I'll try. I would like to know, how did you decide to have a Greek inspector named Angelos in one of the teams? I don't remember which one. There are so many. The
OPCOP team, yeah.
How it came to your mind?
I think it's a beautiful name, Angelos. I think I've had a lot of police officers over the years, but I'm pretty sure his last name is Sifakis. Can that be correct? And isn't that a Crete name, Sifakis? It is, right? So I've had a Crete, what you say, Cretan police officer in the OPCOP team, where there were a couple of, well, it was 28 countries in the European Union, and I had to pick some, and I picked Greek. So I had a Greek police officer, and he was the careful and very thorough and very exact police officer in the team, not the wild, crazy one, which was interesting. Another one?
May I ask something, since I have them? Yeah. Your first books, very, very first, I mean the ones they were translated in Greece, by that order. Not when did you write them, but when it was translated here. I remember that I was fascinated with the music you used to have in the beginning, I mean, 2 or 3 books, and I learned a lot about music because of them. And then you stop.
That's true, yeah. Another thing that happens when you write for a long time is that you make things tighter and tighter, and everything is very tight in the end. So there's not so much space and time for having big digressions talking about music for 2-3 pages. There's not so much space for that anymore. So I think I've reduced everything a little bit in my writing, and that music got a little lost along the way, which is sad because I really like that, especially in the beginning when we had the jazz connection between, well, the first book called Misterioso, for example, where I have Thelonious Monk, the classical pianist from America, and where actually a cassette tape played a very important role, which also indicates how old I am and how long I've been writing, which played a very important part in the story. But so I sort of included the music I listened to at the time in a way, and I also have, well, the European blues, for example, where you have Kind of Blue with Miles Davis. So that part has sort of disappeared a little bit from my stories, I'm afraid. The music is in my words nowadays.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Δύο ερωτήσεις. Θα ήθελα την άποψη του συγγραφέα πάνω στο εξής θέμα που έχω διαπιστώσει εγώ. Οι Ευρωπαίοι κυρίως... Pardon? Okay. Οι Ευρωπαίοι κυρίως συγγραφείς crime literature και πολλοί από τους Αμερικάνους, αλλά όχι των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών, πραγματικά χρησιμοποιούν την πολιτική στα έργα τους ή κάποια θέματα κοινωνικά πολύ έντονα. Αντιθέτως, εγώ έχω διαπιστώσει ότι οι Αμερικάνοι συγγραφείς δεν το κάνουν. Θα ήθελα ένα γιατί σε αυτό. Γιατί συμβαίνει αυτό. Και η δεύτερη ερώτηση είναι μία μόνο συμβουλή για έναν καινούριο συγγραφέα αστυνομικών μυθιστορημάτων. Αλλά μία, την πιο κύρια συμβουλή που θα μπορούσατε να δώσετε.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Thank you. Good questions. The first question, American crime fiction. For some reason, American crime fiction is very much about good and evil in a sort of almost religious way. The evil guys are really evil. They are horrible people, and they're not connected to society at all. It's outside of society in a way. And it also has, I think it has to do with the commercialization of crime fiction that's most intense in the USA, where it's all about selling books. And maybe political questions or issues are not so selling, simply. It's easier if it's a good old-fashioned serial killer that goes around killing people for no special reason. It's easier than actually putting it in a social context.
In North America.
In North America. If we say it's not really fair, because there are some really good political authors as well, like Dennis Lehane, for example, James Ellroy also. But in general, yes. In Europe, we tend to connect crimes with politics in different ways, which I think is the right way to go. Your second question was, what advice would I give to a police or a detective or a crime fiction writer in the future? A new one. Well, today it's changed a lot. In Sweden, we have sort of transformed into audiobooks. So we listen to a lot of books through audio. There are more books read through the ears than through the eyes now in Sweden, which is very interesting. That changes things a little bit too, because you don't think about the book anymore as that's the central element of literature. You think of it, of the files that you listen to and the voice you hear. That changes a lot for a crime fiction writer, and it forces everything to be a bit simpler. I like the story to be rather complex and rather, well, let's call it sophisticated or something like that. And maybe that's what we have to go back to, not to turn crime fiction into a simple genre. I want it to be a genre for adults. That's my answer.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, ladies and gents, thank you very much indeed. Σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Κύριος Arne Dahl, εδώ.
Thank you. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Μας πιέζει και ο χρόνος. Ευχαριστούμε που ήρθατε. Arne, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Happy to meet you again.
So nice to meet you again also. And you, of course. Good luck with the festival. Thank you.